I never thought I'd be the guy whose wife cheats on him, especially not at his own party. It's not that I was perfect or blind to her flaws. Honestly, she's a bitch most of the time, nasty, dismissive, always finding ways to make everything about her. But I loved her, or at least I thought I did. We'd been married for 5 years, and for the most part, life was okay, stable enough. Then came that damn welcome home party I threw for my buddy Jake, who'd been overseas in the army for a year. I organized everything: food, drinks, decorations, even the guest list. I wanted it to be perfect for Jake because he'd gone through so much, and I thought it would be good for him to see how much we all appreciated his service. My wife, Lisa, was acting weird from the moment she arrived. She was overly touchy, a little more hostile when I asked her to help me with something, and she kept sneaking glances at her phone. I didn't think much of it at first. People get distracted. But then I noticed her phone kept buzzing, and she'd quickly hide it whenever I looked her way. That was strange, especially since she usually isn't that secretive. That night she kept claiming she was just hearing war stories with Jake, which I thought was odd because she's never been into that kind of stuff. She's not military, not even a big history buff. She just doesn't show interest in that stuff. The party was in full swing. Jake was telling stories, drinks were flowing, everyone was having fun. I was busy running around making sure the food was good, the music was right, and everyone was comfortable. At one point I caught Lisa whispering to Jake in the guest bedroom. I didn't think much of it then. Maybe they were just talking, catching up. But I did notice she came out looking flushed, and she looked at me with that dismissive smirk that always made me feel like I was invisible. Later that night, while everyone was winding down, I decided to check her phone. I'd seen her texting with Jake a few times that evening, and I figured I'd see if anything was inappropriate. I unlocked her phone using the passcode I'd known for years, thinking I'd find harmless messages. Instead, I found a thread of explicit texts. They went back months talking about sex, explicit plans, how much they wanted each other. Some of the messages were downright disgusting, describing what they'd do when no one else was around. My stomach dropped. My wife, my partner of 5 years, was cheating on me with Jake, right there in my own house during a party I threw. The betrayal hit me like a punch to the gut. I felt sick, numb, furious, and heartbroken all at once. I spent the next few hours scrolling through the messages, trying to process what I'd just seen. Every word felt like a dagger. I couldn't believe Lisa, the woman I'd loved, or thought I loved, was capable of this. The worst part, she'd lied to my face that night, told me she was just talking about war stories, that she was just tired and bored, that she was just trying to be friendly. She lied about everything. She had been screwing Jake for months, probably during our supposed date nights. During weekends we spent apart, probably right under my nose. When I finally confronted her the next morning, she was furious. She called me paranoid, jealous, and insecure. She said I was making a big deal out of nothing, that Jake was just a friend and I was overreacting. She kept denying everything, even when I showed her the screenshots. Her voice was sharp, her words cutting. "You're imagining things. You're crazy if you think I'd do something like that. You're just jealous because I'm better looking and more exciting than you." Watching her lie like that, I felt my blood boil. How could she be so cold, so dismissive? I wanted to shake her, scream at her, but I just stood there trying to keep my composure. I've never felt so betrayed and humiliated in my life. The woman I married, the woman I trusted, had been betraying me right in front of my face, and she had the nerve to lie about it. I knew I had to do something, but I wasn't sure what yet. All I knew was that things would never be the same again. After that confrontation, everything changed. I couldn't look at Lisa the same way. The woman I thought I knew was gone, replaced by someone I barely recognized. I spent days in a fog, trying to piece together what I'd found, trying to understand how she could do this to me, to us. Every time I saw her, I felt this mix of anger and disgust. She was still acting like she was the victim, still throwing her little tantrums, calling me crazy, accusing me of invading her privacy. The more she lied, the more I realized I had to act. I couldn't just brush this off and pretend everything was fine, not anymore. One night I decided to follow her. I didn't want to do it, but I felt I needed proof. I wanted to see where she'd go, who she'd see if she'd slip up again. I followed her car after she left the house, watching her drive out of town. She went to a local bar, a place I'd never been to, but I knew it wasn't just a casual hangout. I parked a few blocks away, watching her walk in alone. She was dressed sexy, her makeup perfect, her attitude confident in a way that made my stomach turn. That's when I saw Jake walk in behind her, and I knew then that this wasn't just some innocent meetup. They sat in a corner booth and I could see them through the window. They weren't just talking, they were kissing, touching each other like a couple of teenagers sneaking around. The way they looked at each other, so familiar, so raw, made my skin crawl. I couldn't believe I'd missed all this. All those nights I wondered why she was distant, why she was acting cold, why she kept sneaking her phone. She was hiding this from me and I had no idea. I was just the fool, the guy she married, while she was out fucking her army buddy behind my back. I stayed there, watching as they headed to a nearby motel. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach again. My mind raced, trying to process what I'd just seen. How long had this been going on? How many weekends had I spent thinking she was just tired or busy? It all felt like a lie. I was furious, but I also felt broken. The betrayal was so deep I couldn't even cry anymore. I just sat there, cold, watching, trying to breathe through the rage. I went home that night with a pounding head and a heavy heart. I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about how she lied to my face, how she was so dismissive of me, how she could betray everything we had built in secret. I kept asking myself, how did I miss the signs? How did I not see what was happening right under my nose? It was a terrible, sinking feeling knowing I'd been played. I had always thought I was a good husband, loyal, steady. Turns out I wasn't enough. Not for her, not for Jake. They wanted something else, something I was never going to give them. The next morning I made a decision. I couldn't keep pretending I didn't know. I knew I had to confront her again, but this time with everything out in the open. I couldn't live in her lies anymore. I was done being the fool. I was done being the one who got played. I had to do something, even if I wasn't sure what yet. I just knew I couldn't go on pretending everything was fine. That betrayal had shattered whatever trust I had left, and from now on, I had to think about myself. My pride, my dignity. I wasn't going to let her keep lying to me, not anymore. That morning, I woke up with a knot in my stomach that refused to go away. The images from last night kept replaying. Lisa, dressed to kill, sneaking out the door with that smirk I hated so much, meeting Jake in secret. I was furious, but mostly I was hurt, deeply, painfully hurt. I kept asking myself how I could have missed the signs. I thought I knew her, but it turns out I was blind to the whole thing. I decided I needed to face her head on. No more sneaking around, no more pretending I didn't know. I called her at work and told her to come home early. When she walked in the door, I was already sitting in the living room, phone in hand, ready to lay everything out. She looked annoyed, like I was bothering her. That bitchy attitude of hers was on full display, rolling her eyes, crossing her arms, trying to act like she didn't care. I slid her the phone. "Look at this," I said quietly but firmly. Her eyes darted down to the screen. The message thread I'd found, the explicit text, the time stamps. Her face went pale for a second, then she snapped. "What the hell is this? You've been spying on me? That's disgusting." I didn't flinch. "No, Lisa, what's disgusting is you lying to my face, pretending you're just talking about war stories while you're screwing Jake behind my back. Those messages, they're from last night. You were with him, and I saw you. Saw you kiss him, saw you check into that motel. How long has this been going on?" She looked furious now, trying to turn it around. "You're crazy. You're overreacting. I told you I was just hanging out with Jake. Nothing happened. You're paranoid." She looked so dismissive, so full of herself, like I was just some minor inconvenience, but I wasn't going to fall for her lies again. I just stared at her, my fists clenched, trying to keep my voice steady. "You expect me to believe that? You're telling me nothing happened. You're out at some bar in secret, sneaking around with my best friend, and I should just accept that. Do you even hear yourself? How stupid do you think I am?" I shot back. She opened her mouth to argue, but I cut her off. "Don't bother, I've seen enough, I've read enough. You've been lying for months, and I bet you're going to keep lying because that's what you do." Her face twisted into a sneer. "You're just jealous," she spat. "Jealous because Jake's better than you. He's got muscles, he's got stories, he's got excitement. You're just boring, Jason. That's why you're so insecure." I felt like I'd been hit again, but this time it was worse. It was her words, her venom, trying to undermine everything I thought was real. I swallowed hard. Jealous of Jake, of his cock. No, what I am is hurt, furious. Disgusted that the woman I loved could do this to us. I trusted you, Lisa. I trusted you with everything. And you threw it all away for some stupid affair with Jake. How long has this been going on? How many nights have you been sneaking around behind my back? She sneered, "It's none of your business, I don't have to explain myself." That's when I saw her for what she really was, selfish, manipulative, and a damn liar. I'd had enough. I told her straight, "I want you out, pack your shit and leave. I don't want to see you or talk to you for a while. You've broken whatever little piece of trust I had left. I don't know if I can ever forgive this, but I do know I can't keep pretending I don't know the truth." She spun around, furious, and yelled, "You're making a huge mistake, Jason. You're losing the best thing that ever happened to you. You'll regret this." But I didn't care. I felt numb, like the ground was shifting beneath me. All I knew was that I couldn't keep her in my life after this. Not anymore. The next few days were a blur. I threw her things out, told her she was no longer welcome in my house. I felt like a shell of myself, angry, betrayed, humiliated. Every time I thought about her, I felt this searing pain, like I'd lost a part of myself. I kept thinking about the good times, the times I thought we had, and how easily she threw it all away. I wondered if I'd ever trust anyone again, or if I was doomed to be the guy who got his wife cheating with his best friend. I told a few friends what happened, mostly to process it, and every single one told me I deserved better, that I should focus on myself, that I was better off without her lies. Even now, I can't help but feel a mixture of relief and devastation. I never wanted my life to turn out like this. I thought I was building something real, something solid. Instead, I was just blind, trusting her to be what she said she was. Now I'm left with the wreckage of it all, trying to pick up the pieces and figure out what's next. It's been a couple of weeks since I kicked Lisa out, and honestly, it's been the worst time of my life. Every morning I wake up with that knot in my stomach, and every night I lie awake replaying everything I saw, everything she said. The house feels emptier than ever, despite the fact that I've filled it with all my stuff and some of my friends' noise. But inside, I feel hollow. I keep asking myself how I let it get this far, how I missed all the signs, how I was so damn blind to her lies. I tried to focus on work, on getting my mind off it all, but even that's been hard. Every email, every call, every little thing reminds me of her. I keep catching myself thinking about Jake and Lisa, imagining what they did, how they must have looked in that motel. I can't shake the image of the way she sneered at me, the way she lied so effortlessly. It's like a bad movie playing on repeat in my head. I don't want to feel like this anymore, but I also don't know how to stop it. One thing that's clear is that I need closure. I need to hear it all from her straight up. I can't keep living in this limbo, wondering if there's some excuse, some justification for what she did. So I called her one night just to hear her voice. I told her I wanted to talk, that I needed answers. She was defensive right away, trying to spin it, trying to make me feel guilty for catching her. She claimed she was confused, stressed, that she never meant for it to happen, that it was just a mistake, a moment of weakness, that Jake was just a friend and she'd been trying to figure everything out. I didn't buy it, not for a second. I told her, "You lied to me for months. You lied when I asked you about that night. Don't even try to pretend it was just a mistake. I saw the messages, I saw what you did, and I'm not interested in your excuses. Just tell me the truth. How long?" She hesitated, then said, "Since last summer. It was stupid, okay? I don't know why I did it." Her voice sounded almost desperate, but I didn't care. That didn't undo what she'd done. The more she talked, the angrier I got. She kept trying to minimize it, saying she was confused, that she didn't mean for it to go so far, that she was just bored and needed excitement. But I knew better. I knew it was about her ego, her need for attention, her desire to feel wanted by someone other than me. And I realized, honestly, I had been nothing but a placeholder for her, someone to keep her comfortable while she chased after adrenaline and danger. That realization stung worse than anything. I told her to stay away from me, that I didn't want to hear from her again unless it was to pick up her stuff or finalize the divorce. I knew I had to get out of this mess for my own sanity. I couldn't keep living with the ghost of what used to be, haunted by her lies and her betrayal. I started looking into lawyers, thinking about dividing everything, even though part of me still hoped she'd come back and say she was sorry, that she'd change. But deep down, I knew that wasn't happening. Not anymore. Every day now feels like a battle, trying to rebuild myself after finding out the woman I married was capable of such cold, calculated betrayal. I don't trust her anymore, not that I ever really trusted her fully, but now it's gone. I don't trust Jake either. And honestly, I don't trust myself to make sense of all this. I keep questioning if I'll ever feel whole again, if I'll ever be able to see anyone the same way. I don't know if I'll ever forgive her or if I even want to. All I know is I'm done being the victim of her lies. It's time to move on, even if the scars will stay with me forever. It's been nearly a month since I threw Lisa out, and I can honestly say I've never felt so broken and so angry at the same time. I thought I'd be able to move on, to forget her, but every day feels like an emotional roller coaster. Sometimes I wake up thinking I've finally got a grip, that I'm ready to start over, and then I get hit with a wave of sadness or rage that knocks me back down. The worst part is dealing with the betrayal, knowing she was lying to my face for months, sneaking around, and then outright dismissing me when I confronted her. I reached out to a counselor, mainly to get some perspective, and it helped a little to voice everything out loud. But honestly, I feel like I'm stuck in this place where I'm trying to understand what went wrong, trying to forgive her, trying to forgive myself for not noticing sooner. Deep down, I know I need to focus on myself now. I started hitting the gym again, trying to rebuild some confidence and clear my head. It's funny how physical activity can sometimes make you feel a little more in control of your mind. But even during those moments of exercise, I catch myself thinking about her, about Jake, about all the lies. I've also started to look into dating apps just to see what's out there, to remind myself that life goes on. Honestly, the idea of trusting someone again feels like a huge leap, but I know I can't live in this pain forever. I've had some good conversations with friends, people who tell me to focus on my healing, to take my time, and never to settle for someone who treats me like I don't matter. They say I deserve better, and I believe it. Deep down, I know I do. Still, part of me is terrified I'll never find someone who can love me the way I thought Lisa did, who won't just turn around and betray me like she did. The weird thing is, I keep wondering if I did something wrong. Was I not enough? Did I miss the signs? I keep second-guessing myself, replaying every moment of our marriage, trying to find where I went wrong, but the truth is I know I was faithful, caring, and trying to make things work. She, on the other hand, was cheating behind my back, manipulating me with her lies. That's not on me. It's on her. I keep telling myself that, but it doesn't erase the pain. I've started to accept that this is going to take time. I won't forget what she did, and I probably shouldn't. It's a lesson, one I'll carry forever, that even the people you trust the most can betray you. I still feel the anger, the bitterness, and that deep sense of loss, but I also feel a flicker of hope. Maybe someday, I'll look back and feel grateful I found out the truth now, before things got even worse. Maybe I'll come out stronger, more cautious, but also more aware of the kind of person I want to be with. Right now, I don't know what the future holds, but I do know I'm done feeling sorry for myself. I'm done blaming myself for her actions. I'm just trying to live again, to find some peace, and to remember that I'm worth more than the way Lisa treated me. I've got a lot of healing to do, but I'm slowly taking the steps. And honestly, that's all I can ask for at this point. Looking back now, I realize how much I've learned from all this chaos. It's cliché to say, but the truth is, I've become a different person, maybe a better one, at least in some ways. For years, I thought I was the one who was supposed to take care of everything, hold everything together. Turns out, I was just a fool to believe that someone like Lisa was worth my time. Her lies, her betrayal, showed me that I was settling for less than I deserved. I've come to understand that I need to value myself more, not let someone treat me like I was disposable. The whole experience has been a brutal wake-up call, but it's also made me more cautious. Not just about who I trust, but about what I want in life. I've learned that love isn't just about sticking through the tough times. It's about respect, honesty, and loyalty. Without those, nothing else really matters. That realization has been both painful and freeing. It's scary to think I might never feel the same way about love again, but I also know I can't go back to the way things were. I refuse to be someone's fool anymore. One thing I'm grateful for is that I didn't let this destroy me completely. I still have my dignity, my sanity, and a little hope that someday I'll find someone who deserves my trust, someone who won't betray me the way Lisa did. I've started to rebuild my life from scratch, piece by piece. I'm focusing on my work, on my friends, on myself. I know I deserve happiness, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. This whole ordeal has also made me realize how important honesty is. I always believed in sticking by my wife, giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I've learned that sometimes the truth is better than illusions. Without honesty, there's nothing left, just lies, pain, and regret. I won't make that mistake again. Moving forward, I'll be more careful, more guarded, but also more willing to stand up for myself. The hardest part was accepting that I had no control over her choices. I couldn't make her stop cheating. I couldn't make her see how much she was hurting me. All I could do was decide what I wanted for myself, and I chose to walk away. I didn't want to live in her shadow and her lies. I wanted to reclaim my life, my dignity, and my peace. It's not easy, and I still have days where I feel like giving up, but I've come too far to go back now. So I guess what I want to say is this: if you're ever in a situation like this, where someone you love betrays you, you have to remember your worth. Don't tolerate lies, don't accept betrayal, and don't let someone take away your happiness. It's going to hurt, no doubt about it. But in the end, the only person who can truly heal you is yourself. Trust takes time to rebuild, but it's worth it. I know I'll never forget what happened, but I also know I'll be okay. Because I've finally realized that I deserve better. And that's a lesson I'll carry with me forever.